levels.
Howard your levels. Turn me up, Guru.
Sound good?
Sound good to me, man.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let me put my phone back on airplane mode because people be texting me. Well, actually, one person be texting me. Shout out to my girl. Yo, welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast. What's good with you, Chen?
Man, life is good, man. Can't complain, man.
Yeah, I mean, you coming in hot energy.
You think so?
It feels that way.
Okay.
It feels that way. How was your week? How was your... Matter of fact, I'm tired of asking about how was your week.
No, man. Okay.
I want to ask this. Do you have any plans for this upcoming week? Like, what do you set to accomplish the week that you're about to go into?
Not much.
Whoa, okay.
Shout out to my mom. It's her birthday today, though.
Shout out to Mama. Happy birthday, Mama.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not the time we're releasing it, but today is actually her birthday.
The actual day. So, okay. She actually was born. Hey, she's like my mama. My mama was born on the 22nd, I think. So, hopefully, I am not publicly getting my mother's dead mother at that birthday wrong.
Late mother, but, you know.
I mean, she's dead.
Okay.
I miss her, though. You know. So what's on your mind? You are very excited about this topic. I don't know.
I don't know about excitement is the right word. I mean, hello. I ain't gonna lie.
No. And when I say excited, I think you excited to hear my thoughts about it more than the topic itself. Because I ain't gonna hold you. Once you sent me the notes to this, I got scary.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. I do want to warn anybody that's watching this that we are going to be talking about suicide. So if that's triggering, I would advise you not to watch this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I was curious on your opinion of assisted suicide. I know we had previous talks about suicide, and you're super against suicide.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, do you agree with doctors or physicians assisting people who are terminally ill and suffering through pain to commit their own suicide?
I didn't even know that was called suicide.
Assisted suicide.
Excuse me. Assisted suicide.
And they give you drugs or a shot to kill you?
Are you asking me?
That is what it is.
Oh,
But I'm asking you how you feel about a physician, a doctor saying, hey, take these drugs, man. You want to go to sleep forever?
What? Is doctor saying that?
Take these drugs real quick. You want a shot, man? Man.
I don't put it in that term. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Because when I think of suicide, I don't think of it in a terminally ill or assisted suicide, rather.
Okay.
I don't think of it in a terminally ill person. I think of it more of like, oh, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to live. And when I say perfectly fine, I mean like not terminally ill at that. I don't want to live, and the doctor's like, all right, cool, I help you. Like, I'm not thinking like your quality of life is diminished almost. You don't want to be here no more. You not going possibly you have more of a chance of not making a full recovery. It's just trashy, and them basically putting you to sleep. I as factual as that is called assisted suicide, I don't relate it to that, which is weird. My brain it's like a mental block right there.
I saw a movie recently.
Okay.
$1 Million Baby. You ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't, but I heard of it.
Yeah, man. Same. I've been hearing about this for years. I was like, you know what? Let me watch it. What's this about? Shout out to the spoilers. That's gonna be a lot, but like my man's always said, keep watching so you could tell, so you could know what happens.
Okay.
So in $1 Million Baby, a woman comes to a gym, meets a trainer who trained a heavyweight champion.
Okay.
But the heavyweight champion, before he became heavyweight champion, left him with another trainer. So he's at the gym, broke. He's just moping through life. And this woman comes in, and he's like, I don't train women. You got to go.
Whoa, sexist.
Yeah, naturally it was. But she kept coming in every day, spending her last amount of money. And she said, this is the one thing I wanted to do. Like, I grew up in a trailer. I have no family that really loves me. I have no money, really. This is the one thing I really want to do. I promise you, I can make myself a champion with your help. So they go through the whole process. She becomes, she beating everybody up. She's a natural. She got the determination. She's old too. She's like 31, 32.
Yeah.
It goes through sometimes. So she comes in at 31, but it spans through I think 4 or 5 years. She a boxer, blah blah blah. She started winning. And she goes to Europe. She wins over there. She comes back. I think she gets a champion. I don't know. She plays somebody and then she gets a shot at the champion belt.
Okay.
She gets to the fight. She's fighting a woman who fights dirty. So, there's a lot of cheap shots. When the referee's not looking, the woman is doing a whole bunch of stuff. So, in the beginning of the fight, the $1 million baby, she's getting hit with these low blows, and she don't know what she do. She's never been in a fight like this, so she's kind of losing a little bit. She talks to her trainer. The trainer's like, "Look, this is what you have to do." So she started beating up the woman, the cheater. She started beating her up. Anyways, the bell rings, and you could tell that she's beating the other woman up. I think she even got a knockdown. The bell rings. The woman turns around, looks at her trainer, and then the cheater pushes her. While she's going down, the people have a chair right there. The chair kind of falls. The woman lands on the chair with her neck hitting the chair.
Okay.
She becomes paralyzed.
Okay.
Paralyzed. Can't move. Could barely talk. And sorry for all my people like that. But that's how she is, and through that, this is like the last leg of the movie. Her quality of life is diminishing even more and more. She's getting bed rashes. And then she asked the trainer. She was like, "Look, I don't want to forget about me being in championship fight.
Okay.
So can you take my life?" Well, she don't say it like that, but she was like, "Can you stop this?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "You asking too much from me. Like I can't put that blood on my hands. Like I can't do that." So he leaves. He gets a call. Hey, so and so is in the hospital. I mean, so and so is there's something that happened. So he rushed back to the hospital. The woman bites her tongue. They stop the bleeding. That was the first time. Second time, she bit her tongue again. They stopped the bleeding. Third time, she falls to the ground, trying to move the thing, but she's paralyzed, so she can't really do nothing.
Yeah, she's trying to hurt herself.
Yeah, so she's doing this over. She's doing all these things to stop herself from living. And every time, the quality of life gets worse and worse and worse to a point where he, finally says, "You know what, I'm going to do this." So I think he gets like some shots or something, and then he administrated the shots. I think it was like adrenaline, gives it to her and kills her. And he's he kind of disappears after that, so nobody knows who he is.
Criminal.
But I think he felt really bad about that. And so that what had me thinking like, wow, she had to ask a trainer to put her out of her misery instead of saying, "Hey, doc, I don't want to do this no more."
Okay.
And so it got me curious about assisted suicide, because I was like, what if I'm in that position? I'm like, man, I kind of don't like this.
Yeah.
Why do I have to live through this because nobody wants to help me kill myself?
But I think it's deeper than that. I think with that story specifically is very particular, and that's not the everyday experience.
What do you mean?
When it comes to assisted suicide, you know what I mean? Like she hurt herself doing her job, being a boxer and things like that. and she fell on the chair. She broke her neck. She wasn't able to walk, or things like that paralyzed her for life, right? When it comes to assisted suicide and things like that, she just her thing was that I don't want to remember in this movie, by the way. I don't want to remember like not being able to like do what I love to do.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compared to someone who's terminally ill, her quality of life, the only quality of life that would have been affected is she can't walk.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Granted.
Well, she needs to be plugged into things so she can't leave the hospital.
It's also a great quality for it to be diminished.
Yeah.
Not to take away that, but organs wasn't failing in that sense. As far as I haven't seen the movie, so correctly.
Yeah.
So it would have had to take some relearning of how to navigate through life compared to someone who is terminally ill with cancer or something like that. I don't think that is viewed. I think the example that you gave, a long example, by the way, but I think the example you gave is more pointing towards assisted suicide than someone who is sick. Because at the end of the day, what killed them, the disease, is what got them in this position. I'm talking about the terminally ill person.
Yeah.
Not so much of someone shooting you up with something to rush the process of what's going to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of times those people. Okay, I see what you're saying. So like, okay, let me give you this example.
You got lung cancer. Your lungs is gone.
But let's say you have lung cancer, but you're gonna die in 5 months. But you're healthy now. But
what?
in 5 to 6 months,
it's impossible for you to be healthy.
People. It happens all the time when people is like, "Oh, I feel something." They go to the doctor. They say you have lung cancer. They didn't even know they had cancer.
Okay.
And then it's like, well, you have 5 to 6 months to live. They might have been a little, know.
But when I think of that, it gotta be more than just a checkup. It gotta be like for example, life support, right? Mm-hmm. Life support is a temporary fix to get the person to breathe, basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you take them off the life support, they're going to die, right? I just can't go into the hospital today and just find out I got lung cancer, right? Just crazy scenarios. But I got lung cancer and then be like, Dad, since I got cancer, can you... Dude, you get what I'm saying? Because I walked in, I'm probably gonna walk out, I'm still functional and things like that. It's more of, okay, on the 4th month, on the 5th month, where am I? How am I moving? Is my quality of life affected? I don't view that as assisted suicide. I don't. My brain can't put the 2 and 2 together. It just can't. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's my religion. I don't know.
Wait. So just to clarify. So the doctors say you have 6 months to live.
Yes.
Or about 6 months to live, and you're like, okay, cool. You take some time to think about it. You start doing things that you love. Mm-hmm. You quit your job. You start traveling. You explore life, and you say, you know what? I just don't want to go through the thing. I'm getting a little skinnier now.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm not moving as fast as I am, but I'm still functional. I'm not. But I don't want chemo. I don't want nothing, and I don't want to be at a much lesser version of myself.
Yeah.
So, Doc, it's been a month and a half. I thought about it. I did everything I wanted to do. I told people I love them. I reconnected with people I haven't seen in a while. I'm okay to go right now. Or is that also like...
That's still touchy for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I use my religion. Yeah. Because it's not over until it's over. So there's always like that speck of hope. Yeah. like until they put my body in that freezer. Yeah. And even still,
I can rise again.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like it's Is that the freezer? Like, you know what I mean? So it's always that speck of hope. Like, do you view that as courageous, or do you view that as brave, or like how do you like? It's a real thing. Obviously, it is things that's going on in Oregon and in DC, in Colorado, in California. These things that it happens. How do you view it yourself? I don't think I got your opinion on how you view. If someone knows like 6 months I'm going to die, but 1 month, 2 months in, they done everything they wanted to do. They started to lose some weight. They started to see something. They're like, I don't want to view myself in this way.
Yeah.
So just to me, it's almost like a, but like you got 4 more months left. It's as crazy as it may sound.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, and the reason why I say that, my mother eventually died of cancer, right? But in Jersey, when she was diagnosed, she wasn't supposed to live. They gave her an amount of time to live, and she surpassed that by years. Dude, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I was there to see my mother's cancer go into remission because it can happen. So that's why I'm like, I don't know how I particularly feel in a way of throwing in the towel. That may be kind of insensitive to say or kind of ignorant to say, but that is how I view it in that particular scenario that you gave.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm with you. I'm mixed on it. I think if you don't have anybody that's counting on you, right? So it's different from like a mother wanting you to live versus like your kids wanting you to live, right? Because like, or even a wife, you know, it's like, if your wife is you know, is the love of your wife, maybe you do this for your wife. Maybe not kill yourself, but maybe you try to fight it for your wife. Versus like if you a single man and you're like, do I want to do chemo? Like I really like that's not something I want to do. So if you don't do chemo, there's a high chance, a very high chance that you probably not gonna survive. And then you like, do I want to be, you know, really frail and needs, you know, people to help me out and walk me here? I don't. And so I think if with that particular scenario where you like don't really have any real dependence or anybody really count on you, I don't know. I'm like maybe you do give people those that option to be like, hey, I don't want to fight this, because it's like we kind of force people outside of those other states, but in most states you kind of force people to have to fight, even if the fight is very unlikely, because the person could deny chemo, but if they deny chemo, they're kind of saying like, I'm gonna let it take its course. Yeah, which is the same thing. So it's like, so I think that's number one, right? But if we get deeper, right, it's like, if we are allowing this for physical elements or physical, you know, sicknesses, should we then start bringing in the conversation of mental sicknesses, where people who literally can't get out of bed or hate life? And I'm not just talking about like you have a rough day, but I'm talking about people who are clinically like, I hate myself. Like I just want to like all this to end. Someone and just they can't fix it. They don't even know why this.
Someone
happened.
Who got like real bad bipolar or something like that,
or real bad depression or whatever, or schizo or whatever. They just say, I just can't live like this.
I don't. As great as mental health is, and even as great as the awareness of mental health, I don't think we would ever get to that point. The point that you just described. Like I think it has to be something like physical. I think that's where you go meet your boundary of, even if somebody is battling with like terrible depression or terrible whatever, they're not going to assist in that. I don't see it happening that way.
I do.
Really?
I mean, you already got the my body, my choice. That just got to lead into everything else. Right now, it's just abortions. But if abortions are allowed to happen, why can't your own body? Why can you not take your own life?
I don't know. It's a strange. It's a strange topic.
It is.
It's a strange, uncomfortable topic. It's a strange thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes against everything that I believe in.
Which is? So everybody's clear.
That you shouldn't take your life.
Okay.
That as a Christian, you shouldn't play God in that way. The one who is the giver of life. But I understand scenarios of the woman having the choice to have a baby.
Yeah.
Scenarios that they have been forced in. Scenarios that just a choice. You get what I'm saying? But it's just so strange of somebody to say like, "Oh, I'm Gucci. I'm fine with what I've done in my life so far. I'm cool with what's going on with my life. I'm done." That is such a strange feeling. Like it's weird. You get what I'm saying? If that's the case, dude, we put an age limit then.
On what?
Suicide? On when you get to choose that.
Yeah, I mean, we do it now. Put age limit on everything.
So what would be the age limit?
18.
Whoa, I feel like that's too young. Because I feel like you don't know life like that.
21.
I was thinking more like 40.
Why would 40?
Because like I consider that like the 18-year-olds who want BBLs. Like it's kind of like, oh,
well,
my,
you got 18-year-olds in the army,
but
so they're allowed to take life, but they allowed to take other people's lives, but they're not allowed to take their own.
That's not right. But somebody got to do it.
4-year-olds, make the 4-year-olds do it.
But they not, but they're not physically able to do it.
Okay.
But at least with a 40-year-old,
so
no. My whole point is, at least with a 40-year-old, they can be like, hey, I lived 40 years. The next 40 years, it's not looking up for me. I want to throw in the towel. Compared to an 18-year-old, to where if you look at the pattern of 18-year-olds or look at the pattern of how life starts, it's always hard in the beginning. It's always tough in the beginning.
No, that's not true.
For a majority of people. Yes, it is.
It's tougher as an 18-year-old than it is for a 4-year-old?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You for sure. You don't have most of the time you're not established. You don't have money and things like that compared to a 40-year-old.
But more people are taking care of you at 18 than at 40.
No, I get that. But that's what I'm saying. For someone to speak of life in the sense of like life, like it doesn't go up from here as an 18-year-old compared to a 40-year-old who have at least, how many years is that? Is that 22? 22 years from 18 of like, hey, from the time I was an adult, 22 years I've been going through this. It haven't been up. It actually got worse compared to an 18-year-old who just became an adult. To be like, it doesn't go up from here. It'd be like, no, you're kind of speaking from an ignorant place. You're not speaking from a place of knowledge at that point. So that's why I'm like, I wouldn't put it at 18. Like, if you're going to take your life just off the strength of and when I say take your life, I'm talking about assisted suicide. I'm not talking about suicide. But if you're going to do assisted suicide outside of the ramifications of you being terminally ill or you having some type of mental health issue, and you just like, I just want to do it because it's my body, my choice, doctor, help me with this, I do not believe that it should be administered to an 18-year-old.
So, and this is based off of you not thinking they're wise enough to know at 18 to take your life.
Yes.
But what makes you say that? Like, outside, like, they haven't lived enough life.
Outside of...
Because there's a lot of 18-year-olds that live more lives than both of us put together. They seen a lot more than we have. They done a lot more than we have.
Okay. But there's also I've been 18 before when things was bad. And I can say from 18 to...
But not 18 to the point where you want to commit suicide.
But listen to what I'm saying. It's not about the result of what I'm saying, Chen. It's about, I remember when I thought this was rock bottom and I thought I wasn't going to get myself out of this situation, but I did.
But you didn't want to commit suicide. So was it as bad as somebody that wanted to commit suicide?
I don't believe in it. So the thought wouldn't even come in my mind. I'm not saying saying.
Well, no. The thought could come in your mind and you not believing it and you stop yourself from committing suicide. That's different than
possibly
the thought never coming in your mind. So you never even had to contemplate suicide. Whereas somebody who's contemplating suicide at 18, that's kind of more rock bottom than you not even contemplating.
I agree. But I'm saying, so you automatically think, and just let me make sure I get it for clarification, that if anyone contemplates suicide at 18, that their life is worse than someone who doesn't contemplate suicide at 18.
That's subjective. I don't know.
No.
So I can't say it's
So-
worse.
so-
but for them, they're at a lower point than you are.
Okay, so I'm saying, even if you was to contemplate it, right? How do you know that things won't get better?
You don't. But even at 40, you don't.
But at least with 40, I have 22 years of being like, from the time I was an adult, it haven't been up. Compared to 18-year-old who's freshly into that adulthood, who only been alive for 18 years at that, it's kind of like you really don't have the data to like back that it's not going to get better.
If you're a life man sucking for the last 10 years, why not?
You was 8.
Okay, you could have been touched as a kid,
abused
as a kid.
But Ken, those are
you could have been sold
very
into,
dramatic.
Okay, for those dramatic explanations, do they allow to get assisted suicide for those dramatic? Even though they went through all those things, whereas you just haven't been able to.
No, because there are people who are 60-year-old who was touched at a young age and things like that. There's people who is 55-year-old and have proven that they can function and move past that situation.
But that's like saying, oh, because he escaped slavery, we should all escape slavery. Why are you judging somebody else's life off of what I should do? I don't want to go through it. So I'm 18. I don't want to live another 20 years to determine if I'm gonna be okay at 40.
And this is your argument towards my body, my choice.
Towards? I won't even say towards. I'm saying at 18, if we allow people to commit, this is the premise. If you're saying people should, we're not even arguing if people are allowed to do it or not.
Okay.
We're not even arguing that. We're arguing the age. I'm saying at 18, if you're allowed to go into the army and kill people, at 18, you're allowed to smoke. At 18, you're allowed to do all these other things, right? And why shouldn't you not be allowed to kill your own self?
Assisted suicide.
Okay.
No.
Get drugs.
That has to be very specific.
Yeah, get drugs from a physician.
Or else we gonna get flagged and they gonna ban our channel. Assisted suicide.
Yeah, assisted suicide.
I just don't believe in it.
Okay, you don't believe in abortion.
I don't believe, but I see a logic behind it though. Wait. When I say I don't believe in it, it's something that
you don't see the logic in suicide.
I don't see a logic in an assisted suicide by a physician towards an 18-year-old who is perfectly healthy and not mentally ill. No, I do not.
Okay, that's different.
That is the scenario that I literally just gave. I said put an age to it. I said at an age.
You said that's not mentally ill.
Well, that's not mentally ill.
Okay, so
as in an actual diagnosis.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's different than the scenario that I was giving.
How so?
I said that person is depressed or has bipolar.
No.
Or schizo.
I'm saying, okay, I give you that. But I'm saying my point towards an age, it wasn't towards a mentally ill person or wasn't towards someone who's terminally ill. It was strictly on, if you're going to do that, put an age to it. And I think the age should be 40. I wasn't thinking mentally ill or physically ill.
I still say 18 though. But I mean, if I don't agree with, I don't know if I agree with it or not. If you should be able to assistantly kill yourself, I'm still contemplating that. But let's skip that. Let's skip all that. I still say 18. And you know what? You go to a physician, you go to a psychiatrist, you go to all these people, and they would determine if you're allowed to do it or not.
So basically putting boundaries there so it can be check and balances to make sure.
Yeah.
I can see that. But I don't. This is just an interesting topic that you took something that is meant for terminally ill people. So to put it in layman terms, people who's going to die anyway.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
terminally ill.
That's the meaning behind it, right? So in a way, objectively, I can say, assisted suicide, right? But you was going to die anyway. There's nothing. That's why I say anything outside of that circle that
what's going to die? A year, 6 months,
it doesn't matter.
So like, everybody's going to die anyway.
Of course, everybody's going to die. But come on, Chen, you're a numbers guy. There is a the probability of me living without this terminally ill disease is way higher than someone who's already on. And mind you, this is not someone who is just diagnosed with it. Terminally ill, probably throughout the latter stages of whatever illness that is. That's basically like it actually hurts more to be alive than it is to be dead.
Okay.
So let's not just do wordplay here. Like, come on. So my thing is, outside of the ramifications of that, it's hard for me to see it any other way that I would accept it.
So we go from that.
Okay.
Let's go to somebody who's chronically ill and it hurts them every day to live, but they're not going to die anytime soon.
Okay.
I would say that person has more right to commit assisted suicide than the person that's going to die in 4 or 6 months. You only got to last 4 or 6 months, while this person got to last, quote unquote, maybe a lifetime. Okay, if we're going from that, let's say somebody that's been dealing with depression all their life. We going now to the mental. They've been dealing with depression for 10 years.
But there's antidepressants.
They try antidepressants. They try, They try all these things. These things have not gave them the quality of life that they seek for 10 years. From 8 to 18. I'm skipping all the steps. I'm going all the way straight to my point. From 8 to 18, they've been hating life. This person is not. I would say that person is probably, it just has the same amount of right.
Anything out of the ramification, anything out of the realm of what assisted suicide was defined for, I don't think it should be practiced.
Well, I mean, there was one time people didn't think assisted suicide should be practiced.
True.
So,
and granted,
and
to your point, it's not legal in every state. So I agree.
So I mean, what it was designed for, I don't know what that means. Like, it was designed for terminally ill, but at one point it wasn't even allowed for terminally ill. So it could be designed for mentally ill. It could be designed for chronically ill.
Yeah.
It could be designed for anybody. I mean, that doesn't, laws are shaped based off of the people and the generation that they live in.
I can't, my mind won't go there.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I view it. I don't want to commit suicide, so I won't be doing it. If I happen to be diagnosed with a terminally ill, I'm gonna go through the chemo.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through the surgeries or whatever I had to do to survive.
Can I add this little caveat?
Yeah.
The reason of going through the chemo is for the potential of getting better. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to add that in there because for some people, or just based off what we said earlier in the conversation, some people say, I don't want to take chemo because I don't want to go through the things of, losing weight and potentially going through all these things. Yeah. But even though those are the side effects of chemo, the goal of chemo is to give you hope of getting rid of that cancer. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's hope, though. It's a chance. It's probability. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what hospitals were created for, to, give people at least a chance of survival. So that's why when you bring that example to me, or when you speak of that outside of the arena of giving people hope of survival, even though it's a cost, it's a sacrifice. You may lose some weight, it go hurt. Kidneys your other organs may be affected, but at the end of the day, even though your organ, may be affected, that's not worse than the cancer that we're trying to kill. So it's is this still an objective? So that's why I'm it's hard for me to see it outside of that realm. But I get it from the point of view you basically saying, look, if they feel this way and it's their life, you know what I mean, they should have the right to do it.
Other resources.
Also, you want to go a step further with let's give them the tools for them to.
That's what assisted suicide is.
Okay.
I mean, do you have the right to do it? I guess not. But if you really wanted to, that's a different topic that we probably shouldn't even touch. But yeah, I and this is controversial. I'm replaying a lot of things. I don't believe in suicide. I just want to put that out there because But it does worry me that, I don't want to say it worries me. I think we do have this thing of preserving life, and I think it's just innate in us. And then because we say, I want to live, you should also live. And then also we hear stories of people who wanted to commit suicide and they tried it, failed at it, or they thought about it and somebody talked them out of it and they're happy for it, right?
Yeah.
You hear those stories. But you also hear the stories of the person that tried it numerous times and then the final time they finally got it down. Mm-hmm. So it's like sometimes they do it and they doesn't. But that's everything in life. There's some people that like certain things. There's certain people that don't like certain things. There's certain people that go through, a thing that they thought would make them better. I was going to use an example, but I want to stay away from that. And then there's sometimes other people go through that same thing that they thought would make them better and regret it. And so it's like, and I think the only thing about this is that it's a permanent choice. And people are scared of this permanent choice because as soon as you make this choice, you can never take it back. Mm-hmm. You can't cover it up like a tattoo. You can't, I guess the other thing is, cutting your finger or a limb off, but I don't know why you ever want to do that.
But all these things are not just things. All these things are to rather solve a problem, and I think, that is why it's kind of viewed kind of in a weird way with me. Nobody. If everybody had a choice, nobody wants to cut off their finger. Yeah. Usually, they cut off a finger to preserve
their life.
Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So, or exactly, or just the other limbs. So for someone to be like, oh, I don't want to preserve my life. Mm-hmm. I want you to help me, like, in my life. Mm. And there's nothing terminally, like basically, like you're not already on this path. We will have to put you on that path. Mm. It's weird. And when I say it's weird, it's a weird thought that going through my mind, and because it's sad in a way, mm-hmm. But I guess the bravery is that like you came up with this decision. I guess I don't personally view it that way.
I don't know if it's brave.
I don't know if it's brave, but I think it's more sad than anything, and I question it more. I get it in the whole hospital sickness aspect, but you think it's going to leak out to other arenas, especially how prevalent mental health is. Why don't we give more resources besides giving resources to help with assisted suicide?
Yeah,
get more resources to help these people who are dealing with these things.
Yeah, I mean that's happening.
But that's what I'm saying. Like my thing is the antidepressants today. Mm-hmm. This is a guess. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure the medicine for depression is better today mm-hmm. than it was when it was first introduced.
It is.
So it's like, why we automatically jump into like the end of like, you know what, we gonna help you. Mm-hmm. You know what, make this decision that like you want to. We gonna assist you. It
goes back to my point. It's like you have a psychiatrist that go through a process, mm-hmm. that go through all these different methods, and at the end of that method, they still want to do it. Let's say you have to go through therapy for 5 years before you get this.
5 years.
Maybe that's probably what you have to do, and you have to prove that you went through this.
We are hoping you forgot.
Or you have to, take antidepressants for a year or two before mm-hmm. you. So it's like you have to. So I'm saying you're gonna have these boundaries and these thresholds that you have to go through before you get to the final point where it's like, okay, I did everything you told me to do, mm-hmm. and I still don't feel like being here. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, okay, who are we as a society to stop them from doing this? And I mean, it goes back to a lot of things. And I think it's just reshaping how we think about giving people agency to live their life. Because we might have a conversation about this, legalizing all the drugs, heroin, cocaine, not fentanyl, but, all the other drugs, like legalizing and then providing a safe way and a monitor way where people could do this without, because if somebody's, and then I think it would cause more people to open up and seek these things. So you have more people come in and say, hey, I have these thoughts, blah, blah, blah. If we provide these resources where they say, you have to go through all this before we even give you anything. And it's like, okay, cool. We might prevent a lot of people from doing it themselves because they will come to us and go through that, and it might help some people too. It will probably help a lot of these mass murderers who really want to commit suicide, but they want to be remembered before it. Which I'm happy that we getting a little desensitized. Was another topic. It sucks, but at least we're not making these people famous no more. I don't know these people that be committing these mass murders, and they're not getting these national attention like we used to. So shout out to that, but it sucks that we are getting desensitized. That's a different topic. But I think it will also provide an avenue where we could catch a lot of these people who have these violent thoughts, who want to end the world and do all these and take a, racist, but who have these violent thoughts. We could catch these people at early through this funnel, through this process, and then, but also it's like, as a society, and I keep saying this, as a society, where is our end of, okay, we help you, but we allow you to make the final decision about whatever you want to do. We give you the resources that you don't have to go down this path, where you don't have to make this decision. But if we have failed you overall, why are we making you go through this suffering?
But you're not even saying that, in my opinion. I think you're not only saying you're not saying not only are we going to stop you, we're going to help you. We're going to assist you in this.
Yeah, so you can do it safely. We don't want you blowing up your brains with a gun. Like, we don't want you falling off a roof. Like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna put you in a nice white room.
Why gotta be white?
What color do you want? You want to go to Bali?
Okay.
You want to see the beach? Yeah, we're gonna put you in the beach. We're gonna give you a little whiskey.
So basically, it's basically death row for people who are not prisoners. To where you get.
They want death row. It's not like we are like, putting them in electric chairs.
I mean, they not doing that now. They just inject you with medicine. That's what they do with death row.
Yeah.
So basically, it's death row. You get whatever meal you want.
Yeah.
And things like that. But instead of it being a punishment in the sense of death row, it'd be a safe way to assist
people who want to commit suicide.
Your decision.
Yeah. I would say that's number one. But it's like I don't know why I keep calling this man, but Kanye West, he was saying, I don't want to eliminate abortions, but I do want to provide other ways to assist, what's it called? People who have children that don't have the resources to take care of them. I think you're right. There need to be resources that you assist people with these mental.
That's really the issue. Like
mental illness.
Like the issue
is not the issue, because if those resources don't work.
But real resources then. Like
what do you mean?
Because like my thing is, many times than not, this is not an every case scenario. That many people make that fatality decision because they feel like there is no other choice. Yeah. Meaning there's no other resources to help with what other issue they have. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, how about we put our energy towards creating, like your man Kanye said, other solutions that could be a possibility. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. How about what about adoption? Like, what is the process to that? Are we getting these kids good families? Mm-hmm. I hate to use this word, but are we shipping them out to families that need kids and stuff like that want kids and things like that? Of course, there's the vetting process and stuff like that, background checks and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, these orphans and these other things, it has to be a safe environment for everything, in the sense of, okay, this is a crazy example. I have a child. I don't want this child. Okay. Right? Is the system, because we always talk about, oh, no, be careful or your child will fall into the system. You don't want your child to fall into the system. How good, if the system was good, or at least, safe in some factors, it wouldn't be viewed as, oh, no, your child will fall into the system. Mm-hmm. It would have been actually viewed as a safe place, as a safe haven. Like, okay, you don't want to take care of this baby? And I'm just using abortion as an example because that's what you said. okay, they go be in the system. Besides somebody saying, okay, let me take in all these orphans and keeping them in, it should be like, okay, good. Okay, at least we know that we have a system that will take care of these kids safely, give them the education that and possibly give them a good family that can restore or even build that bridge that was not there to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by like building resources or giving resources or potential or even just the attempt before just out here just saying, you know what, I don't want a baby. I'm just going to end it. And granted, that's just an example. I'm not saying that that's the case in everything, but I'm just saying that's how I view things when it comes to resources.
I mean, that sounds great.
I mean, no, it's definitely not reality.
It sounds great, but it's a lot more complicated and a lot harder to achieve. And I think in the meantime, I'm not oblivious, right? Like there is a very grave danger to all this where because we make suicide normalized or normalize suicide, or because, we make it a thing where it's out in the open. It might be like, hey, you know what? I might just go get one of them pills, man.
Trendy.
Yeah. Even with the boundary, people could fake it. People could fake all the boundaries. Like, yeah, I went to therapy for 5 years, and they just had somebody, forward somebody's copy. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you don't know where that leads to, right? But that's the thing, It's like I remember I was talking to a friend, a black friend, but Republican still, and we was talking about the education system. And he's like, man, we need to pay teachers more. We need to help the kids learn more STEM classes. But it's like, yeah, that sounds good, but it's hard to do those things.
It is.
It's hard to do those things. And so in the meantime, what do you do? I mean, like, are you just going to hope for somebody to have that magical fix? And right now, mental health is a very new thing. I'm not saying we should administer, self-assisted suicide in all those areas. I think there's a lot of research, and my ignorance in all those areas is high. So I can't really say if it's okay. I could just give you my opinion based on the limited knowledge that I have. But I do want people to question, what is this obsession of everybody must live no matter what? Because even I have it. Like I feel weird even thinking about somebody who's terminally ill saying, I want to take my life. I'm like, just try to live, right? But I can see it in the other end, like
it sucks.
It sucks to be sick in the hospital all, and then every day you're getting worse and worse. I get it. Or you're in constant pain, like. So it's like I get that, but then it's like I don't know what depression feels like. I don't know what.
I know what it feels like to be sad. I don't know what it feels like to be depressed.
And so I'm like, is that? Are we minimizing that pain? Are we minimizing that hurt? Because if we saying somebody who's hurt all the time physically, is that worse than the person that's mentally hurt all the time, doesn't want to be here all the time? I don't know. But I agree with you. We do need to investigate in how these resources or what these resources are. We do need to get better with, not just mental health, right? You would think right by now that cancer would be a curable thing, not just a beatable thing, but a very curable thing. And we do invest a lot in cancer, cancer research, but there's still a lot that we don't know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if this is a meantime answer or you're right. Maybe it's not an answer. We do just more in the other direction where we just provide more resources.
Yeah. And I think that'd probably be my final word in the sense of I believe in investing in resources to help to give you basically all the options before. I want you to have the freedom of the decision, but I don't want you to make a decision based on limited options. I want to give you all the options.
Yeah.
Options that you probably didn't even think was an option. of like, oh no, like I understand you're going through this, but we have this medication, we have this program, we have this, we have options. And if you still feel that way based off of not the illusion of options, actual options that can help or assist you in whatever, then okay, I'm all for you having that freedom of choice.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to make a choice based off of A and B when there was a C, D, E, F, G available to choose as well. If they can see it all and be like, I did that, doctors shoot me up, cool. You get what I'm saying? But that's just how I think we should invest in resources to help people more and to move them along through this journey than to help them cut it short.
Yeah, I agree. I think, not only with assisted suicide, I think that's most things in the medicine arena, I think we don't give people enough resources or options. Usually surgery or some type of procedure that gravely decreases their quality of life.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey, we're gonna set you up with a physical therapist or a dietitian. Shout out to Tonya, a dietitian to help you manage these things.
Yeah.
Or do preventative care. I think. Instead of catching somebody where they're depressed, how do you prevent somebody from being depressed? So I think all these things are things that we should definitely take into play before assisted suicide. But I do question the idea of preventing people from doing it, because it's like we live in a society where we allow people to do almost everything else, and it seems like we're doing that more and more. So. Heroin, cocaine. Hey, we about to get very acquainted in a couple of years, man. When they legalize, y'all. When they legalize, y'all, I'll be in the clinics, man.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay.
Oh man, that's how I'm gonna be. I'm doing all the drugs when I'm turning 65.
You told me this, but I don't believe you.
I'm gonna be wild.
I don't believe you.
I'm gonna be wild. I'm gonna be doing. What's that drug that Joe Rogan be doing? Kawasaki.
I ain't gonna accuse that man.
Kawasaki. No, that's what he said. He said on this podcast.
Elk meat. That's
But yeah, I think there's a ton of work, both in not just the mental arena, but both physical and mentally. So yeah, man.
Man, make sure y'all subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and we see y'all next week. Blessings.